in brightest day, in blackest night. All other podcasts tremble in fright. Losers cower before the power. Oranges lust and blues you can trust. Indigos feel and white ones heal. Yellow scare and green ones dare. That sapphire love and black hands glove will rock your foundation without hesitation. Chad and Mars face evil's might. Respect their power, for they'll make you see the light. Hi, everybody. I'm Chad Volkelman.
I'm Mark Marble.
And this is the LanternCast.
Episode 330.
That's right. We are talking about some more Dark Stars Rising from Hal Jordan and the Green Lantern Corps, 47, 48, and 49. Saving 50 for some special. That's right. It's Venditti's last issue, so we'll save it for something special. So we're gonna knock these three out of the park. I'm taking 47, Mark's taking 48, then I'll take 49, and after that, we discuss. We'll be talking about a trailer from this was shown at San Diego Comic-Con, but the footage didn't release in time for our last episode, so we'll be doing a bit of house cleaning, I guess, by talking about that. So, I guess no preamble.
Go for it.
Into the Dark Stars verse. All right, so Hal Jordan and the Green Lantern Corps, number 47. Writer Robert Venditti, penciler Fernando Pasarin, inkers Auclair Albert and Eber Ferreira, colorist Jason Wright, letterer Dave Sharp, cover Barry Kitson and High Five, variant cover by Tyler Kirkham and Aria Prianto. Assistant editor Andrew Marino and editor Brian Cunningham. We open up in space.
But not transluminal space.
That's right. We open up in space, and Hal Jordan is looking at his hands and at the stars and thinking about what it all means, who he is, where he is, and who am I? He is on a dead world in Space Sector 563 with Hector Hammond, who says he is safe, that he's a hero who's going to take care of anything. I'm strong enough to make the bad people across the universe stop doing bad things. And all of a sudden, in Green Bubble, a Green Thought Bubble, don't listen to him, Hal. Hammond is messing with our mind. And Hammond's like, pay no attention to that voice behind the curtain. Essentially.
I get that reference.
Meanwhile, over in 2814 in Baltimore, Maryland, on Earth, in case you couldn't figure that out by context clues.
In the United States of America.
America. All right, so Guy Gardner is about to go ham on his own father when Arkillo steps in and tries to stop him. Guy delivers a hard punch, to which Arkillo does not give up, tries to stop him, and says, hey, as you told me once, take off your jewelry, princess, let's make this title bout interesting. And he's going to try and shut him down. He says, let me see here. You are Guy Gardner, a man of the law, the greatest Green Lantern I have ever fought against or alongside. I would not wish a father such as yours on anyone, but you cannot deny that he had a hand in making you the man you are, the man I call a friend. And he says, last chance, once I start, I won't stop. And Arkillo says, are you speaking of your fists or your mouth?
Both.
So, all right.
Both.
Why not both? All right. His father tries to interject and say, I deserve it. He tells him to shut up. This is no longer about you. Guy and Arkillo really start pounding on each other. Well, Guy pounds on Arkillo. And as he's beaten and battered into the dirt and into the concrete, he's trying to provoke Guy into taking that final step when Guy freaks out, Mantle malfunctioning, willpower override detected, and the mantle explodes off of him. He says, I let the Darkstar mantle latch onto me to see how things work from the inside. It's bad. I felt the shared mind of every Darkstar screaming at me. It took my thoughts about punishing my dad and cranked them up to 11. It's riot mentality with a badge. Call the rest of the yellows. We'll need him. He reiterates they're not going to join you in your fight, but I will. They fly off. Meanwhile, on New Genesis, Space Cabbie and Kyle are locked up when Orion shows up to get them out. Space Cabbie's not going to leave without old gal, so they go down to retrieve her. That's when all the guards show up. Orion opens a boom tube, and Space Cabbie and Kyle fly through with Orion. Meanwhile, back in Space Sector 563, Hammond is bragging about how I'm going to kill every villain in the universe. Then there won't be any evil. I was inspired by a hero I once knew. Hal's like, that doesn't sound right. And his own inner monologue speaks up as we got to break free. Of all the worlds we could have brought him to, we picked this one for a reason. Remember. He says, yeah, I remember. He starts dashing towards this cave. Psychic blast knocks him down. And then the inner monologue speaks up again. Hey, our will chased down the speedster of the new gods. We became willpower itself to defeat Sinestro. We did what never had been done. We forged a ring from our own will. We're Hal Jordan. And he enters the cave. We made a ring here in this cave. It changed the planet forever. Our will is part of this planet now. We brought Hammond here because we knew if he tried to overpower our mind, this would be the hardest place to do it. We know what we have to do. He reaches in, he gets his ring, he powers up, and he's Green Lantern once more. His memories are returned, so on and so forth. And this is when Hector speaks up and explains what he's been doing. I'm the God Brain. Still, you're strong enough to resist my mental powers. Do you understand now? All the guilt you have about your feelings, about your thoughts about killing criminals, about killing me, that's all they are, feelings and thoughts. You just prove that you'd never do those things. You won't even let me do them. Your actions are what make you a hero. And they fly off to fight the threat. Meanwhile, on Mogo, our Kilowog has been left in charge of the Corps, while John and company are all on their recruitment drive. Lots of people in the med bay. Guardians show up asking for a report. They're questioning the logic of Judge Stewart's plans. He says, the Earthers will Kilowog says the Earthers will come through. We just need to give them time. Meanwhile, in the command center, Salak and friend get a reading. I think his name is Eagle, which is interesting.
Or
Aegle.
Or Eagle.
Or Eagle, yeah. Suddenly there's a blip on the radar, then blip, 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 and all of a sudden it's the Dark Stars, and they are surrounding the entire planet of Mogo, and it says, next the end begins. And then an ad for Justice League Dark, which I read and was good.
See, I have an ad for Supergirl being super.
Mm.
In the physical issue.
Gotcha. All right. What'd you think?
This was a pretty good issue. Even I can appreciate Arkillo taking one for the team, but as I've stated before, I'm sick of Arkillo getting the crappy end of the stick. But at least his eyes stayed in this time, so I guess that's a plus. Especially since Sora wouldn't be there to put him back together, though I assume Salak's distant cousin over there could probably put him back together too.
You can take a bit of solace though in the fact that it seems like this was the plan. Like if Arkillo had kicked his ass, then his plan wouldn't have worked and Guy'd still be in the mantle.
Yeah, I mean that's maybe a question for another day to actually ask about that. But the reality is, yes, if that was part of the end game, that there was a specific reason why why it had to happen the way it went down, in general. But even I'm talking big picture, like the first time they fought, let alone this fight. But the reality is, I did like I also like the fact they actually give us, for the first time really, which is kind of a little late in the story arc, they kind of give us an explanation for why the Dark Stars are unhinged, as opposed to just the lethal justice concept. At least they kind of make it the whole, the mob mentality kind of thing, and the fact that it died basically because all the Dark Stars are connected, psychically. The reality is they all feed off each other's anger and their desire to get justice and revenge and all this stuff. So that just magnifies your own desires and just so at least we finally get an explanation for why this power, quote unquote, is corrupting. And, so I do appreciate based on the arc and the way it's structured as we've talked about. Could it have been? We know that the approach could have been different about the debate. But based on the story that we've gotten, at least now we have an explanation for why the Dark Stars are unhinged and maybe why a little bit more they're a threat.
Yeah.
So I like that. I kind of liked Hector Hammond's own weird way how he was trying to help Hal. I kind of like the ring and the will and the ring and the planet, everything going back to the very beginning, which is part of. We knew this arc was going to do that, tying into certainly everything in this whole book since it started. Because that's kind of what we saw with Hal forging his own ring, and basically this planet being changed because of what Hal did and taking off the gauntlet and everything else, and so I like that. The only thing I didn't really care about in this issue much was the whole Space Cabbie and Kyle and Orion stuff.
Yeah, I feel like that could have been a page or two less. But then again, I mean, like, is there really anything in this particular issue that you saw that you would have wanted more of? You know what I mean?
No, I guess that's true. To me, if you're looking at all the little diversions to gather up all these weird allies, that even the whole Orion New Gods angle of this, I don't think there's much of a payoff in the story regarding Orion. We know why they wanted Zod for multiple reasons. We know why Zod was important. Arkillo was more or less available, I think, more than anything. But we know why Hector Hammond and Zod served major purposes. Arkillo was more, maybe his real point in the story was what we just got in this issue, to deal with Guy. But
makes me wonder. I mean, we obviously have 2 more issues to cover in this episode, so maybe I could ask this at the end, but I might as well ask it now. Do you think at the end of this arc we'll have a Hector Hammond who's, almost on the side of the Angels?
I'm going to go out on a limb and say we might just not know, Chad. It would be interesting. I remember Jim had predicted that what was going to happen is that Hector Hammond was going to end up taking over the Dark Stars, more or less replacing. He was going to be the one psychically connecting them together, and whatever role the controllers were playing, which of course we at this point kind of know, or we find out that Hector Hammond would take their place, which was an interesting concept.
Yeah. I mean, I liked it. I like the art. The pacing was okay for the most part, fairly consistent. Not high tempo, but not a bore, not a snooze fest throughout it. Again, I do like the art. I like Hector as he's drawn here. I mean, just a larger head. I mean, some grotesque, veins and so on and so forth. But I never liked the weird monster head. Like, don't get me wrong, he's still going to have a big head no matter who does it. But it's just like, I never like the deformed, the really decrepit sort of look to it. So I like this. I like the stuff with Guy and Arkillo. I like that when Guy breaks free, his dad says, "I'm sorry," and he's like, "Stop! Not now. I need to stay pissed to fight off the Dark Stars." And just like basically shuts him down, and then he flies off with Arkillo. Yeah, you're right. The stuff with Kyle and Space Cabbie and all that, wasn't a thing for me. The stuff with Hal, it's good. It was cinematic. It was well done. One thing don't get me wrong, as a Green Lantern fan, I think we all inherently like those willpower moments. And by that, I mean those moments where things are looking bleak and things are going, and then Hal or Kyle or whoever it may be, just is like, screw it all, and just like throws caution to the wind, and they just light up. Those are always really cool moments. But because it's a Green Lantern book, those moments happen quite a lot to quite a few characters. So in the interim, what you're seeing as a fan is either that was a good willpower moment or a bad willpower moment or just a moment, because there's so many of them. Well, in this case, it wasn't bad, and it just didn't feel like I don't want to say not deserved, because Hal's definitely working towards getting into the cave and fighting off, the psychic powers of Hector and all this stuff. It just didn't feel as epic. Didn't feel, for lack of a better term, it didn't feel as earned. It was definitely done and done well. It's just a matter of when I saw this page, when I got to this moment, was I like, oh shit, the way you're supposed to get when Hal lights up like this.
No, I get it. I understand.
Yeah.
Maybe part of it was by the nature of the story, because at the end of the day, at least retroactively, we find out that Hal was not really in as much of a threat, or in a dangerous, dealing with a threat, or in much of a dangerous situation as we first would have figured he was.
Maybe that's why they relegated this moment to a third panel instead of a full page splash or something.
Maybe.
All right. All right. Anything else about the stuff on Mogo or Kilowog or anything?
No, not really. I think that was more set up for what was starting in issue 48. So it kind of showed you how things were going, though, when pretty much every bed in the med bay is all filled up. Start doubling these guys up.
All right. Well, you want to go ahead and take 48 then?
I will take 48. Technically, 48 begins the final arc. The final subtitle of the, as we've been dealing with Dark Stars Rising, this actually changes it to Last Charge. So the last 3 issues of the Dark Star saga is Last Charge. Too many R's than is there. Last Charge, Part 1. So the cover at least says Battle Royale. Of course, in the actual issue, it's Divided and Conquered. So Robert Venditti writer, Rafa Sandoval, Jordi Tarragona, Tomei More, Dave Sharp, covered Doug Mahnke and Will Quintana. I knew that knew the cover kind of seemed familiar. Variant cover, Tyler Kirkham and Aria Prianto, Andrew Marino and Brian Cunningham, the editors. Kind of interesting that we have Arkillo created by Jeff Johns and Yvonne Hayes, and New Gods created by Jack Kirby. It kind of seemed interesting that now we kind of get these nods. I don't know. It kind of seems odd to me because we didn't get them in the other issue, right?
Yeah.
So, but I just happen to notice that now. I don't think I remembered that before. So this issue begins with some narration, and it kind of doesn't take long, even before you get to the big splash page reveal. I think most people at this point would probably figure out, who the narrator is. Talking about, my father used to tell me a story. The immortal guardians, desiring to bring peace and justice to the universe, turned to the power of the green light of will. From it, they forged the most formidable weapon in all creation, the Green Lantern ring. When worn by someone chosen for their immense will, their ability to overcome great fear, it was able to create hard-like constructs, limited only by the wielder's imagination. Yada, yada, yada. We get to the point where my father always stopped his telling there, a happy ending, the best possible light. But I grew up, I learned there was more to the story. My name is Tomar II of Zudar. I used to be a Green Lantern. My father was a Green Lantern, but the Green Lanterns failed in their mission. I'm a Dark Star now. We are the future. So basically, we get a nice double splash page there where the Dark Stars, led by Tomar, are taking on the Green Lantern Corps, led by Kilowog. Now in Space Sector 000, Space Vector 1, people. that basically now all the various characters that have been recruited and have been doing the recruiting have pretty much have reunited. And does it feel so good, Chad? I don't know. It doesn't feel bad, but so we have Zod, Orkillo, Orion, Hector Hammond, and more or less John starts revealing at least a little bit of his plan, that how we have to level the playing field first. We also find out that he's basically giving the rest of the Corps a no-kill order, because for John this is more than just a physical battle. They're trying to literally re-win the hearts and the souls of the universe, trying to, especially after everything that's happened with the Corps previously, and the Guardians not being trusted, and then the Sinestro Corps crapping on everybody, that John's trying to reestablish the Green Lantern Corps not only is the police force the universe needs, but they should be the police force the universe needs. There's kind of an interesting. I like the 3 panels there when Hector Hammond's playing his mind games, as everybody's kind of explaining what's been going on. First they go to a birthday party, then they go to everybody sitting in a bowl game, and ultimately everybody at the beach, which is kind of funny, as Kilowog apparently can't find a suit that fits.
Arkillo.
Oh yes, I'm sorry, Arkillo. Yes, not that it'd be any prettier with Kilowog, but but Arkillo. But I did like the fact that Guy, when he's talking about Guy is informing everybody, hey, I was a Dark Star, but it kind of made me want to almost kill my dad. Again, the same phrase that happened in Chad's issue, dialing everything up to 11. And Kyle's kind of funny. It's like, how'd you get the mantle off of you? And he's like, I willed it off. Jordan isn't the only one who can do that stuff. I did like that. I kind of like the idea of seeing General Zod with a reverse baseball cap. It's kind of funny. But more or less, everybody tells Hector Hammond to knock this stuff off, and poor Hector, he just wants everybody to be happy. So they, more or less, they just on the surface, everybody agrees to the no killing policy, because more or less they say, hey, Hal's saying at this point, if you're not on board, you pretty much can hit the road, which is kind of funny since they went through all this effort to get these people, but yet, okay, leave. John's like, let's cause some trouble. Meanwhile, on Mogo, the battle between the two corps continues. We have a very personal confrontation between Tomar and Kilowog. I have to be honest, I'm not overly thrilled, and yeah, even like we talked about in your issue, we now have an explanation for why Tomar is kind of like a little more Tomar than he, in his way of thinking, than he was previously. But I kind of don't like the way that Tomar was handled on some levels in the final few issues of this arc. During the fight with the Dark Stars kind of teleport out of there because they figure, hey, their ultimate goal really is to go get the criminals out of the science cells so they can kill them. And of course they go to the science cells and all the prisoners are gone because the Green Lantern Corps has anticipated this being their move. And much like Nightcrawler, Tomar admits that, without having any coordinates, without actually knowing where they are, we can't just teleport blind because we might teleport into the planet or something. Kilowog's kind of like helps rally Kilowog, who then rallies the Corps because basically they got their first little minor victory over the Dark Stars because they're kind of outthinking the Dark Stars. So Kilowog's leading them back into battle. Meanwhile, in Sector 001, I like the combination of Kyle and Guy there in the big monster truck. And what the hell is Arkillo creating? Do we know? Is it just
probably something from his planet or something?
Yeah, because it kind of looks similar to it, kind of almost like a he combined with like a parallax kind of like design, but it's got teeth. He's got teeth like Kilowog. I mean, like Arkillo. So this little group minus John Stewart and minus Hal Jordan and minus Hector Hammond, which more or less leaves us Kyle and Guy, Orion, Zod, and Arkillo take on the Dark Stars. The Dark Stars, they're doing okay against the Dark Stars considering how horribly outnumbered they are, and they really are outnumbered. Especially after Guy goes, this is it. This isn't so bad. And meanwhile, like thousands of more Dark Stars come out, and Kyle's like, every time you say that, things aren't so bad. They get worse. Back on Mogo, Tomar really takes it to Kilowog. He blasts him. You could tell how Kilowog's doing in a fight usually by how many holes are in his uniform. And he's got a lot of holes in this one. And Tomar is just like, you can't stop us, Kilowog. It's like, this is reckless even for you, or maybe not so reckless. Every Dark Star's thoughts are connected by the central mind at our headquarters. I know Guy and Kyle are basically attempting a misguided attack. They've enlisted the aid of criminals, General Zod and Arkillo. Please tell me again that the Green Lanterns value upholding the law. Kilowog. Now I say Arkillo. Tomar lays into Kilowog, pretty well. Then Tomar gets blasted, and surprisingly, we see the Guardians actually getting off their little blue asses and leaping into battle again to support the Green Lantern Corps. And the big, today there will be no talk today. We will fight. We fight with our core, that kind of stuff. Spectre, back in Space Sector 001, the Dark Stars are pretty much kind of like wearing down the Green Lantern attack. Orion is talking about there are too many. The ones we get our hands on teleport clear. Zod comments, that their communications are tactically superior. They teleport individually, but their attacks are coordinated. And while this is going on, we find out that Hal and Hector Hammond have gone into, the Dark Star stronghold with the basic plan of Hector Hammond basically is being brought in there to separate the controllers since the controllers are being used to psionically connect all the Dark Stars and coordinate all their thoughts and their efforts and their actions. Hector Hammond is being brought in there purposely to sever that connection. So, next issue, communication breakdown.
That's right.
Woohoo!
What'd you think of the art in this one?
Not as good.
I like it in some places and not a huge fan in some others.
Yeah, Hector Hammond doesn't look good.
Yeah.
And Sandoval does not. That whole Kyle hair thing when Sandoval draws it just looks really bad. But you're right, some things look good. A lot of the battle scenes look really cool. Kilowog doesn't look bad. This is again not my favorite rendering of Tomar, but he doesn't look that bad. The Guardians look pretty cool. Things like that. Zod he draws Zod and Orion pretty well. But it's
yeah. I like the stuff with Hector doing the little mind games. I like the fights. I like that the artist is putting some thought into some stuff that's happening in the backgrounds. I mean, nothing of particular note, but at least there's stuff happening in the background. From here on out, you're going to get a lot of these group shots, like when Kilowog's flying forward with "Here Comes Another Lesson." You're going to get a bunch of these sort of shots. Then there's the next one, "Ladies, Start Your Engines." That's another sort of fly towards the reader group shot. Stuff like that. So those look good. The Guardians flying towards things. I like that they joined the fight. I wish that they had more to do in this story arc, yes, because as we'll see in the next issue, they don't really play much of a factor. And when the Guardians show up and actually start laying down some smack, something should happen. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah. So not that they should, automatically win the day just because they join the fight, but the tide of battle should turn somewhat in that vicinity. So, but yeah. What do you think of the plan so far?
Overall, the plan is, it's pretty logical. I do think as we find out, they do take their sweet time using the Zod aspect of what Zod contributes to this game plan. Though there's obviously it's waiting for the right moment, which is always the key to these things. But again, Orion overall, but based on what they're doing tactically, having this group, what Group A's mission is supposed to be, what Group B's mission, that stuff works great. I think that is well coordinated. I think that works kind of like I said before, Orion doesn't serve much of a real purpose in accomplishing anything other than being there. Arkillo is cool for being there too, but he much like Kyle and Guy in a way, are since their part of the role is just to be the distraction. Almost anybody could have filled that role. I'm glad it is Arkillo because we've actually gotten some character development in Arkillo, which is weird that it's kind of like come full circle. As far as before Hal Jordan the Corps book began, Arkillo was in a certain spot. Then once the series started, it kind of like took back a lot of the character development we had gotten in the Sinestro Corps book. And now, by the end of this book, seemingly some of that character development has come back. But I'm glad Arkillo's there. But the overall, the plan John is devising for the most part is pretty clever.
Yeah. Let's talk about the third page, which is after the title page, Last Charge. What do you think? So Hal, Kyle, Guy, and John all have green. Arkillo has yellow. Hector has an orange bubble describing who he is, which makes sense given his association in the past. Zod has red, which makes sense given him. Do you think they're trying to say something here using these colors?
Right,
I ask because you're the blue. Not that I'm not a Blue Lantern fan, but you're more so than me. So. Just, you think they're trying to say something here about Orion and Zod? And
it's kind of hard to really read too much into that because of the fact that we know Robert's leaving. Even if in his mind's eye there was a hint or something that maybe if he was staying on the book like another year or two, or just let's say another year, something maybe a plot point he would have picked up on, but. I don't know. I guess you could try to make the case Orion could be more hopeful now and see things. He sees things in a different light maybe than before. Potentially also, ironically, based on his interaction with the other Corps a little bit, but especially with the Green Lanterns. It would kind of be funny that it kind of would be ironic that because he's had such close ties with the Green Lanterns have inspired hope in him. It's possible. That's a good catch. You would kind of suspect that there's a reason for it. But of course the reason could just be because they wanted colors to set these things off because we have so much green. And right dead center in the middle. But it probably does mean something. It's probably...
All right. Anything else about this one before we move on to 49?
No, I say we can do 49.
All right. Hal Jordan and the Green Lantern Corps, number 49. Where is the title page on this one?
Let's take a look.
Oh, it's going to be towards the back. I can't go that far.
Yeah, it's the very last page.
I'll get to it, guys. Open on Sector 0 on the planet Mogo. Everybody's going ham against the Dark Stars.
Did you want me to do it since I have it open?
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Okay, Last Charge, Part 2, Disrupted. Robert Venditti, Rafa Sandoval, and Sergio Davila. Jordi Tarragona, inker. Tomei Moro, colorist. Dave Sharp, letterer. Fernando Pazarin, Eba Ferreira, and Jason Wright did the cover. Variant cover, which I have. Tyler Kirkham and Aria Prianto. And Andrew Marino and Brian Cunningham, the editors. Speaking
of Tyler Kirkham, he's been killing it with these alternate covers, these variant covers. These 49 and 48 are a Connect cover. Which is pretty awesome.
Yeah, I wish I had the other part of. I did not get the variant cover. They did not pull the variant cover of 48 for me, so I only have the right side of the. And obviously the left side would have been cooler because I would have preferred the lanterns on the other side.
Right. I also like the variant for 47 because for those of you who aren't aware, if you can find an image out there for it, it's basically Hal Jordan holding the central power battery on his back, kind of like Atlas. So it's really cool looking. But anyways, we open up on Mogo. Give them all you got. Lantern screams Kilowog as the entire Corps goes up against the Dark Stars. Meanwhile, in Space Sector 1, the Arkillo, Zod, Orion, Kyle, and Guy are fighting off Dark Stars. Again, they're teleporting all over the place. John is standing off to the side. And he says, every piece of me wants to fight alongside them, but all I can do is watch. I've devised a 2-pronged battle plan that will give us the faintest hope of victory. If this recording is my final log entry, I want the people of the universe to know that we died fighting for them, where Green Lantern's faint hope is our comfort zone. Timing will be essential. If I miss our chance to battle the core and the universe will be lost. Like so many of my plans, it begins with Hal Jordan. Meanwhile, over on the Dark Star base, Hal gets Hammond to reach into the minds of the controllers to shut them down and kind of sever the link between the Dark Stars. He does this by saying, "Hey, fair warning, it won't be easy. The controllers are some of the most powerful minds the Corps has ever encountered. You can expect a storm of psionic resistance." To which Hector responds, "I'm the God Brain. I could easily overpower them. Instead, I'll just squish them with a 5-ton piece of machinery." But before he can, Hal yells, "No killing." He says, "All right, well, what's your great idea? Why do you think I went to you? Your mental abilities should be able to override theirs. I know it's a big ass. One controller's a handful, and this is all 7 linked together. Can you handle it?" And Hector's like, "Is that all? Done. What now?" And Hal says, "Hammond, you're really starting to freak me out." Meanwhile, in space, the Dark Stars and on Mogo, the Dark Stars all freak out because of some psionic feedback from their telepathic link being severed. This causes Tomar to order all Dark Stars to return to base. Kilowog reports this to John. To John. So some of the Dark Stars around Arkillo and Zod and Orion and all of them.
Arkillo
and Company sort of stand still and don't attack while the other Dark Stars show up in the area. But before the other Dark Stars show up, Kyle's like, "They aren't attacking. Is that it? Is it over?" And then in flashes all the other Dark Stars. And Guy's like, "I purposely didn't say anything that time, Rainer, and things still got worse." And Kyle says, "Sorry." Meanwhile, on the Dark Star base, Tomar shows up and starts to fight Hal. Hal sends him back and says, I'll be right with you. He tells John that he's there. He says, "Focus on keeping the telepathic link down. I'll handle Tomar." Says that to Hammond. This is when John switches on the teleportation disruptor thing. And right as Tomar says, "Well, how are you going to take me down?" And he throws a huge boxing glove fist right across Tomar's left cheek. Shatters his glass and punches him to the floor. Tomar freaks out. It's like, "How?" Mantle run diagnostic. Teleportation field disrupted and nullified. Tomar screams to abort. The Dark Stars start running. And Guy says they aren't going anywhere. There's a Category 5 green hurricane rolling in. And this is when all the Lanterns show up to take on the Dark Stars.
Led by John.
Led by John. And Guy says, "I don't know about you boys, but I'm not about to get upstage." Johnny is showing the Dark Stars the rock. Hit him with a hard place as they hit him from the other side. Everybody's taking on a target. Hal and Tomar go mano a mano because Hal screams, "Never question the will of Hal Jordan." And next, Last Charge, Part 2, Disrupted. Next, Last Act.
Yes, this was Disrupted.
Yes. I almost kind of like this 2-page spread of Tomar and Hal going mano a mano than I like, because what it reminds me of is that double-page splash of Hal versus Sinestro, when Sinestro, I guess, had Parallax in him.
Right.
Yeah. So I almost like this better.
Well, it's a great shot at Tomar.
Oh yeah, for sure.
It's probably one of the better panels or pages of Tomar maybe ever. So, I like I said previously, I feel bad for Tomar. Tomar really he's kind of got the shitty end of the stick for a long time. Even going back to Emerald Twilight, man, he's never had a really happy existence as a Green Lantern.
Yeah, member of the Lost Lanterns. That's right.
That club is a very exclusive club.
Yeah, who's left?
Maybe we should talk about that later. But what's his Hanu's still left, right?
I think so.
And technically, Aricia was included as part of that group, I think.
Boudica's dead.
Yeah. Yeah, Aricia is considered part of the group once they rescued them from Cyborg Superman. But she obviously wasn't part of the group that was defeated in Emerald Twilight.
Right.
So if you want to look at that, Graf, right? Wasn't Graf one?
Graf. Yeah, I think Graf. Yeah. So yeah.
But
that counts.
Yeah. So, but either way, in general speaking, as far as active members, we're pretty much.
Kehan's dead, right?
Yeah, oh yeah, he got killed. He got killed by wasn't it the Anti-Monitor? I think the Anti-Monitor kills him.
Yeah, I think so.
So yeah, it's a very exclusive club for those that are not only still around as we speak, but just in general, which ones are still fully functional.
You want to remind everybody who the Lost Lanterns are?
Oh God, no, not really. The ones who we did. I'm trying to remember the ones who we didn't mention. The eye patch. Well, the eye patch guy.
Technically, Jack Chance is one of them.
Yes. I remember. Jack T. Chance was one.
Yeah.
Who was killed by Parallax Kyle Rayner.
Yeah. For those of you who don't remember, and Mark, I'm sure will correct me if I'm wrong, or if I'm right, but not giving the whole truth of it. The Lost Lanterns are the lanterns that, most of them are the ones that Hal encountered on his way to Oa. Took their rings during Emerald Twilight when Hal was infected. We now know infected with Parallax. Destroyed the core of that whole thing. On his way, the Guardian sent a bunch of lanterns. I guess technically Kilowog's a Lost Lantern.
No, he's not.
I mean, he was the last line of defense.
No, remember, it's not. The basis, the logic in the group. They were the lanterns that were sent in space to prevent him from getting to Oa, and then they were all presumed to be dead, but they ended up being captured. I got the list.
Oh yeah, that's right.
I got the list according to the Green Lantern Wikia page.
So let's see. Let's rattle off what we already have so far. Tomar, Jack T. Chance, Hanu, Kehan, Boudica. You said Aricia. Who else? Graf. Who else? What are we missing?
Creon is the guy with the eye patch.
Okay.
And we forgot an obvious one because she'd been gone a long time now. Lara.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah,
so it's Aricia, Boudica, Graf Turin, Hanu, Tomar, Jack T. Chance, Kehan, Creon, and Lara. Those are the ones that are listed, at least on this page, as having been. They were the official Lost Lanterns. Let me look at the DC, the Wikipedia page, just to see if there's any difference. They don't include Aricia, which would make sense because that
wasn't until much later.
No, it's because I think they are defining it as just a group that Hal beat in Emerald Twilight. We just Aricia, we know Aricia is included because of the fact that she was also there where I forget where Cyborg Superman was at the time, but Cyborg Superman had her as well, so she kind of became a de facto, but she wasn't. She
didn't face down Hal Jordan on the way to.
She's not if you will, a true charter member or people that had a reason to have it in for Hal, which was part of the underlying tension when they came back, was that they all were characters that had little faith in or had reason to not trust Hal Jordan.
Right. But our Lost Lantern crew is getting smaller and smaller.
Yeah. I always liked Tomar because Tomar was
his legacy.
Yeah, it is. He is a he is a legacy character too, not just literally because he's a Green Lantern. So all the Green Lanterns are technically legacy characters because of the core, but yes, directly because of his family ties to So and
it was interesting because, I mean, he had to have grown up hearing about Hal, from Tomar. So knowing Hal and Tomar were so close, then that betrayal when, after Tomar Ray died, and then Tomar 2 got the ring, like he comes into the Corps, he's excited, he's close to Hal because he's heard all these stories. Then Hal betrays the Corps, he becomes a member of the Lost. He's got a very good for a Lantern who's essentially, let's face it, compared to his father, Tomar 2 is more of a supporting character than a main character like Tomar Ray was. So, to have a supporting-ish character like Tomar 2 have this much and this complicated of a background and personality and, his various loyalties being torn here and there, you can imagine, as a Lost Lantern, him wanting to believe that Hal had come back to the side of the Angels after all this Parallax stuff had happened. So, he's been a good character for a long time.
Yeah, he has been. So, and it's this whole arc is kind of it's. We'll discuss it more later on, but it's when this arc is over. But it is kind of a. I was not unhappy when this arc began and Tomar was the champion, if you will, the leader of that Corps, because in a way it was Tomar stepping up to the plate. Tomar kind of you're seeing, even though it might have been in a dark way, no pun intended. Tomar is what he's capable of, as a leader and moving up. But again, I guess my issue a little bit is now that they quickly established that even though Tomar was affected less than some of the others, seemingly, the reality was we now know that so much of this was not that Tomar himself is just being like everybody else. All the Dark Stars we know now are being corrupted by. There's a logical reason why they're being corrupted, because they're all feeding off each other's whatever.
Yeah, they're corrupted by each other.
Yes, it's a magnification of their own desires for lethal justice and the revenge, and then everybody else's. So it is a group riot mentality, that mob mentality that they just feed off one each other. That now that they went that route, I would have been happier if they didn't, even from a character perspective with Tomar, because I think Tomar, like we've talked about before, there is a point of view here. There is a differing point of view which was worth exploring, and based on what the direction they went in, which is fine by choice, it just would have been. I'm just curious how it could have been going the other way too.
No. All right. Anything else you want to say about this issue or any of the other 3 issues we've covered? Total 3 issues we've covered this episode?
I think this arc is really good overall. I think it's. I still wish we would have gotten more characters brought in that were factors, either in this run or even the entire Robert Venditti run, since this kind of closes out not just obviously the Hal and the Corps 50 issues, but it closes out everything that since he took over back in the New 52 for Jeff Johns. Right. So I personally, even at this point through issue 49, would have liked to have seen a little more tie into some other things that either were not completely closed or the characters we haven't seen in a while. But based on that's what we didn't. You have to view things as what we've got, and like going to a movie, you have to review what's there, not what you would have liked to have been there, or the approach you would have liked to have seen them take instead. So I think it's good. I certainly think right up there. If it's not the best overall arc Robert Venditti has done, it certainly ranks right up there. And especially considering that this has been a very long arc, and as we know, long arcs could have always, it's always shaky. It can, even if the story is cool, it could always end up just, you get fatigue just because it's.
Yeah, I think also here's one thing I'll say for Robert Venditti in this arc. There have been times when he's done longer arcs, and more than one issue has felt like we're just sort of dragging things out. In this arc thus far, most every issue except one has felt like we're building here. It hasn't felt overly slow. Don't get me wrong. We've clearly reviewed these, and there's not much to talk about here in this arc. But it's not like nothing was happening. It was just sort of everything is on the page.
No, I agree.
Yeah, there was definitely one issue where we felt it was, sort of a breather issue, I guess. But, I mean, otherwise, I can't recall that particular issue off the top of my head, but I do remember feeling that way about one of them. But traditionally speaking, over the past few years, I've always been able to point out like 2 or 3. In this case, there was just the one, and even that was sort of, I mean, it wasn't an overtly calm issue.
Right. I mean, if you compare this directly to probably one of the other arcs that he's done, which was very successful overall, the Godhead arc, that we all know. I mean, you and I know. I'm not going to speak for everybody. We know from our perspective that Godhead was interesting, probably more interesting than it had a right to be based on the mere concept from my perspective, but it still was drawn out. That considering how quickly they gathered the rings, once they made it clear that the new gods were going to get the rings just like that, it didn't probably need to be 3 months worth of stories. They could have probably done it in 2 months, and maybe even they probably in it. So, but that was a good arc, but it still was stretched out. I would say so far, considering what is this going to be? How many issues? When did this start? 42.
I honestly don't remember.
I'll look it up. But I think overall, this has been moving fairly well, like you said. I think this has been one of the most successful arcs. So I certainly think that he is going out. He's going out on top, which is better than going out with a
whimper.
Yes, 42. Oh, you got that right. What do you know? Cha-ching.
All right. Well, moving on. Last episode, we had our San Diego Comic-Con breakdown, and in that I told you there was a Venom trailer shown, a new Venom trailer shown during the Comic-Con proceedings, but that trailer has not leaked yet online. As we record this, God, I forget what day it is. It's Wednesday. As we record,
August 1st, Chad. August 1st.
as we record this, it came out yesterday, right?
I
think so.
think that's correct.
Yes. So we are going to watch it. It's from the Sony Pictures YouTube page. Venom trailer official number 2. HD. It's 3 minutes 14 seconds long. I got it queued up here, and we're going to go ahead and watch it and then react.
What's that? What's the timestamp where you are right now?
0.
Oh, you're in 0, so you got the pre-trailer stuff. All right, let me back up. I was at 5 seconds.
All right. So, and here we go.
We are Venom.
I'm Eddie Brock. I'm a reporter. I always seem to find myself questioning something the government may not be looking at. I found something really bad. And I have been...
Eddie.
Who said that? Taken.
Look around at the world. What do you see? A planet on the brink of collapse. Human beings are disposable. But man and symbiote combined. This is a new race, a new species. A higher life form.
What do you want from me?
You'll find out.
I'm so sorry. We cannot just hurt people.
Look into my eyes, Eddie. The way I see it. We can do whatever we want. Do we have a deal? Eyes, lungs, pancreas, so many snacks, so little time.
That power, it's not completely awful.
You have no idea how much you're scaring me right now.
Eddie, cooperate. And you just might survive.
Guys, you do not want to do this, trust me.
beliefs will always come at a cost.
We will eat both your arms and then both of your legs, and then we will eat your face right off your head. You will be this armless, legless, faceless thing, won't you? Rolling down the street like a turd in the wind.
What the hell are you?
We are Venom.
Oh, I have a parasite. Yeah. Name is Chen.
Yeah, buddy. So, first trailer, no Venom. Second trailer, well, let's back it up. First teaser, no Venom. First trailer, one shot of Venom at the end that kind of shut everybody up. Second official trailer, Venom and symbiotes everywhere. So, what do you think?
No, I'm kidding. What a pile of monkey crap. No, I'm kidding. It's kind of funny now. Now my bigger issue is whether I buy Hardy as Eddie Brock than the Venom thing. Something about
I'd buy him more than Topher Grace.
Oh, well, yeah, of course. I mean, I would have. I'm trying to think who would have been worse. I mean, I would have bought Millie Bobby Brown as better as Eddie Brock better. I'm not sure if I'm buying the Eddie Brock stuff, but the Venom stuff looks really good. I do think it is somewhat ironic that he's playing another character in which you have to worry about you're going to be able to understand what his alter ego or the character's voice is going to sound like. When I first watched the trailer, I had a hard time figuring out anything Venom was saying beyond the stuff we already had heard him say before. Through the headset, I was able to hear a little bit more of what he's saying to the guy in the shop. But much like his original, not as bad as the original Bane thing, when people couldn't understand a damn thing that he was saying. I think there's a little concern that the Venom voice might be a little. They may have to amplify that or refine it so you get them better, so it's a little more clear what the symbiote's saying. But overall, I thought it was good. I certainly think they have successfully healed all wounds from that first teaser trailer. They've left that behind them quite nicely, so I think they are moving forward.
It looks real good. It looks like we have more symbiotes than just Riot. And for those of you who want to know who Riot is, when you were watching this trailer, in the part where the almost grayish-looking Venom swung those huge arm sickle-looking things out, that's Riot. But it looks like we might have more than one, because one of those symbiotes looked like it had a huge tint of yellow in it. So maybe Scream, could be one of the others. There was that. It was really quick flashes. Was she an Asian woman?
Yes.
She looks like she's infected with a symbiote. Maybe she's infected with Riot. Maybe Riot is hopping from person to person before he finds, who he'll eventually end up being connected to in this movie. That's a possibility. Or it could be a symbiote battle royale. But given that one shot where both symbiotes are splitting off their respective hosts, and there's like the strings of, that was a real cool shot, by the way. That is a shot you've probably seen dozens of times in the comics before, but to see it so well realized on the screen, that looks real good. Venom, we see so much more of him. I think he looks fantastic. I think a big problem with some CGI is a lot of people say things like things look wet, but in this case it makes sense. It doesn't look wrong for being that way. I will admit, seeing it, like I'm looking at him and I'm just like, man, where's the spider symbol? that's a part of it for me. But honestly, all these people out there freaking out about him not being connected to the Spider-Man mythos in this way. First of all, we don't know what that's going to be like in this film. They could make some sort of a reference to where they found the symbiote. You never know. Don't give me. But even if they don't have any sort of even vague reference to it, the reason I liked Venom was never really inextricably linked to Spidey. Is that where we discovered him? Is that where a large part of his great story arcs took place? Is that where a lot of the good character development and all this other stuff came from? Sure, yes. But at the end of the day, what makes me keep reading Venom is not Spider-Man. I followed him into a Guardians of the Galaxy storyline where he was hanging out in space with them as Venom Space Knight for a little while, or where he was, in the Flash Thompson guys. I follow him into these current arcs where Spidey's not really a huge part of any of this anymore. The Venomverse, he's got his own stuff going on now. I follow Venom for reasons other than Spider-Man. So if you don't go see this movie purely because it's not connected to Spider-Man and that's wrong, part of me gets it, but the other part of me is like, just look at these trailers. This looks so much fun. It's not like they ripped out the heart and the core of the character. He's still Venom. He's still acting like Venom. So, it's sort of pulling me in two different directions. I see where these people are coming from, but at the same time, I'm just like, really? You're going to skip out on this movie because of that? Because that seems like, you seem like you're a little, set in your ways, old man. So, I don't know.
Get off my lawn or my symbiote.
Yeah. I don't know. I think it all looks real cool. I don't know how because you were a big Spider-Man fan around the time that Venom was happening. So, well before that, but still.
I was going to say technically before, but I do have Spider-Man 300, so Venom wasn't that.
I'll take it, thanks.
Yeah, I think it looks. I'm more enthused about seeing that, let's say, than Aquaman. Based on interest, all things being equal, where a trailer's got to try to sell me or overcome some aversion I have or reservations I have, I'd say the trailers are making it more appealing to me. So I think the trailers are doing a good job with this. I think so. It's certainly looking better than we would have suspected a few months ago.
For sure.
Before we wrap up here, I'm trying to think of some. I know there's some other things we didn't talk about that have happened since. The Disney Fox merger is all but done now. Pretty much, you just need the crossing the T's and dotting the I's now, which I don't think technically happens until January. I think is when it will 100% be official, but it more or less is official. Which has led to multiple rumors going back and forth about whether the two X-Men movies that have already been filmed, whether they're going to see the light of day or whether they're not going to see the light of day, or whether they'll see the light of day but it's going to be a long time. So that would be New Mutants and Dark Phoenix. And of course, whether it's true or not, a lot of rumors are circulating about how absolutely horrible Dark Phoenix is. Which probably wouldn't surprise anybody based on what Apocalypse was. Mm-hmm. But it could just be clever spin or proper spin to try to justify, to give further reasons why Disney/Marvel wants to bury it. It kind of makes sense if you know you're going to recast all these roles anyway. And if the movie, let's say for the sake of argument, Dark Phoenix is really bad. Now, first of all, it was really dumb to jump into Dark Phoenix right away because you barely set up the idea of her being Phoenix. So, and they kind of screwed that up the first time. So, yes, do you really want to allow Fox to ruin the Dark Phoenix story twice when you have an opportunity down the road to actually do it the way you might want to do it and do it better? Kind of like the way Fantastic Doctor Doom got screwed up twice, and It's like, do we want to really, if you're Disney, if you're Marvel, do you really want to let these things see the light of day? The New Mutants, I suppose, wouldn't hurt. I mean, because it may be, I'm not sure how that they would tie that movie or how they plan to tie it into the X-Men U to begin with, but they're characters that we've never seen before in X-Men movies. But I don't know. It'll be curious. If I had to bet, I would bet that that they won't release those movies anytime soon. They'll probably see the light of day somehow, even if they leak. But if I had to bet whether I believe they're going to release them or not release them in theaters, I would say they won't release them. Just like we've had conflicting rumors about the James Gunn thing, where Disney was reconsidering or was going to think of, where they were open-minded on the subject. I would bet against that too. I don't think they would have, quote-unquote, rushed to judgment so quickly if they thought there was even a chance that they might walk it back. And that doesn't mean down the road. That doesn't mean maybe some few years down the road. But I seriously doubt they're gonna, because of a petition and a few 100,000 people signing a petition, and the Guardians themselves signing the petition. That's going to make them walk it back, because then if they do that, then you're going to have all the people on the other side having petitions to get him removed. It's like sometimes you make a decision, you got to stick with it. They made a decision for their reasons, and I think they're going to stick with it, because at the end of the day, I think they know that Guardians fans are not going to not go see Guardians 3 because James Gunn's not directing it, which is kind of ironic too, since so many people didn't like Guardians 2 compared to Guardians 1, but yet now it's like, oh my God, you can't get rid of James Gunn. More out of principle, I suppose, probably for a lot of these people, which is another story, as we kind of talked about last episode. So, but it's like, and you can take, I think you can take it to the bank that you're not going to have the major players in the Marvel universe quit because James Gunn's not doing the movie. They can, but since technically speaking, Marvel has not actually given Guardians 3 an official release date yet. Everybody assumes it's that May date in 2020, because that makes sense. It's every 3 years. And I think that's what they're aiming for. But, which is still, if we talked about this, if this is getting off the Gun thing, briefly, it's kind of, back to Comic-Con, it's like, it really, I was thinking about this more today. It was really kind of, I know Disney's kind of guilty of this, and Marvel's guilty of this, Lucasfilm, that thanks to D23 and other outlets, they've definitely moved away from Comic-Con being their source of info and pushing their movies. But my God, when you really think about it, there's only 3 really officially greenlit movies right now in the Marvel Cinematic Universe that haven't come out yet. There's Avengers 4, Captain Marvel. Not in that order. Mm-hmm. Captain Marvel first, and Spider-Man Far From Home. Yep. Guardians has never been officially greenlit, though it's pretty much was a foregone conclusion that was going to be one of their 2020 movies. But either way, and even if you want to throw Guardians in, we don't have any official announcements for any other Marvel movie yet, which is really weird. It's kind of it's weird. I know there's hints that maybe Doctor Strange 2 is going to be announced soon because the director posted something which gave people the idea that something was coming. But, Black Panther 2, there's tons of stuff that, even the Eternals, none of these, they haven't announced release dates for, and it's kind of interesting. So, it's, Comic-Con ain't what it used to be.
All right, you want to play this voicemail?
Yes, go ahead, play it.
All right, let me crank up the volume. All right.
What's up, fellas? This is Corman. In the gym listening to episode 328, and it just hit me with all this talk about Tomar. How do you guys feel about the fact that since Johns took over, pretty much all of the Lanterns that we know and love have either died or, well, pretty much gone evil? I mean, we've lost Laria, we've lost a whole bunch. How do you guys feel about that, and do you think they're doing enough to step up these new Lanterns into taking their place? Let me know what you think. Later.
I didn't think about it until he pointed it out. It is true. I mean, really, of the old guard, in terms of on the page with speaking roles, all we have left is really Kilowog and Salak. Aricia is still there, but she's been relegated to background quite a bit lately. I mean, even in the issues we just reviewed. So how do I feel about it is one thing, but like also asking, how are they doing enough to step up these new Lanterns? I mean, I feel like they are, because you still see Goran's son and 2-6 and stuff like that in the background and in there. You got the Doctor from Salak's planet, coming into the picture. You've got the Eagle character that Salak works with. Look, how I feel about it, it really depends. It's hard to say they're not getting enough attention when you've already got Hal, Kyle, John, Guy all in the same book, and we're already worried about, are those characters getting enough attention? So having Salak and Kilowog still play a major-ish role in all of this is probably more than we could have hoped for, given the cast of characters that we already needed to focus on in the book. But yeah, I feel like we should get some more alien stuff, quite honestly. Some more alien Lanterns, some more focus on the core, rather than just the Earthers all the time. There were times during the Green Lantern Corps run when the Earthers wouldn't get sent off on assignments together, but rather assignments with other alien Lanterns. So, I mean, that's something that's been missing, I feel, lately. So, well, I mean, with the announcement that the Green Lanterns will be canceled.
Oh, yes, that was another thing we didn't talk about.
Yeah. That will be canceled here shortly. I forget when.
57, I think. I believe October. Yeah. I think 57 is the last issue, I think.
Yeah. So, I mean, where's that going from there? Who will Morrison have on his plate? Is he just going to stick with Hal? If so, where does that leave the others? Will John just take a more prominent role in that Justice League story that Scott Snyder's doing? By that time, this whole Ultraviolet Lantern arc thing will obviously be over, but will John hang around? Will he become a more prominent member? Where's Kyle, Guy going? What's going to happen to Jessica and Simon? So, yeah.
I think
there's that Justice League Odyssey coming up. Jessica's supposedly going to be in that, so.
I think looking at Corwin's question, I think yes. I think it's unfortunate when you go back and we've lost a lot of the Lanterns that we did know, especially like you and I were talking about earlier, that so many of the lost Lanterns have been weeded out one by one over time. And actually, to be fair here, a lot of them were not weeded out over time. A lot of them bought the farm in a relatively short stretch. I mean, Jack T. Chance and Kahan were both killed during the Sinestro Corps War. And Lara didn't buy it until the build-up to Blackest Night. But still, I think when we had the beginning of, appropriately enough, the beginning of the Robert Venditti run on Green Lantern and Van Jensen on Green Lantern Corps, they were doing a good job at introducing new Lanterns, like 2-6 and things, and the one-armed guy who I really liked who bought the farm. He bought the farm in Lost Army, didn't he? Didn't they kill him?
I think so.
I think he died in Lost Army. That it was kind of like Hulk-like. He was kind of like Hulk-like. That they were doing a good job at establishing new core members then. But I think since we've switched over to probably post-Convergence, and certainly in the Rebirth era, I don't think they've done a particularly good job. You mentioned the Doctor, yes, who technically isn't a core member, but they've done character development with him. He is somebody new. But we haven't had like you mentioned Goran's son. He got a lot of page time back, in the New 52 part of the Robert Venditti run, back during the whole Durlin thing, especially the end of that run, the end of that arc. So he's had his moments, but I don't think we haven't gotten that many new members that we've cared about. So I think that's probably how I would answer that part of Corwin's question. And for what you talked about, I find it hard to believe that we're not going to get an announcement of another Green Lantern book. I think it's just a matter. I think I would be surprised if by the time Green Lanterns ends, we don't have another title, and we know, because there's too many characters right now for them to shelve. It would be really difficult to do one book. I think the worst part of this for me is the fact that, because we talked about this, that the book is titled Green Lanterns. You did not have to do a reboot if you're just basically shifting the focus to making it a Green Lantern Corps book. You really didn't, unless you feel the need to now distinguish between the two books. Just like Hal Jordan, the Green Lantern Corps, was distinguished from Green Lanterns. That's saying having the Green Lantern and Green Lanterns is too close together, and you need it, and you want to, reestablish the difference between the books. What concerns me the most is it kind of gives you the impression, until we hear otherwise, that Mr. Jurgens is only there as a filler. A high-profile, excellent filler, but until we hear otherwise, I'm going to keep my fingers crossed that maybe they are going to relaunch, and when they do relaunch a second Green Lantern book, he might be the writer on it. But I kind of have a feeling that's not what we're going to get.
Yeah.
And that's really, now, yes, we could be surprised based on who's going to be put on that book, but I got to be honest with you, I don't know if, off the top of my head, I can't imagine anybody who would be getting that book I would be happier with than Jurgens. Unless they were going to bring back like Tomasi or somebody to do the book. But other than that, I don't see how I'd want to. I think I'd want I've said before I'd prefer if Jurgens was writing the Hal book personally. But
isn't Tomasi available given that Bendis has Superman now?
I guess it is possible. It could be. So I don't know. We will have to. I'm just a little. But when I heard that news, I found that a little. That was a little disturbing for me. I thought that was. We kind of had a feeling, especially, and we may have talked about this on one of the episodes, how Jurgens had been a little cryptic about how long his run was going to be on this book, and was it indefinite, and what was going to happen down the road, and he just kind of made it sound like, let's just focus on what's in front of us for now, and see how it all plays out. That kind of, you could have, obviously it could have been read into it and interpreted multiple ways, but from my point of view, as soon as he said that, that made me think, yeah, that means he's not sticking around very long on this book. So, but not because I figured that more because the book was going to be canceled, not because he didn't want to stay. So it will be greatly and very, very interesting to see what happens going forward, and whether Jessica still becomes the main star of whatever second book they launch, and just have Guy and Kilowog and assuming Kyle's still alive, Kyle roll into that book, or whatever they're going to do. You can't think they're going to be restarting the book and have it be the same focus, because that makes no sense.
Yeah.
So I think we're both for Jessica continuing on as a major role. I think we certainly would like to see Simon take more of a back seat.
Yeah. All right. It's time to wrap up the episode. Mark, if people want to reach us, how can they find us?
LanternCast.com. LanternCast@gmail.com. 708 Lantern. No .com. Twitter and Facebook. #GLCast. Locate us. iTunes and Stitcher. We're on it. Listen to us.
Leave us a review.
That's right. I think that's our bridge closing for tonight. Good night, everybody.
Good night.